Good morning. As we look to the week ahead, our key focus today will be on the European Central Bank. As we look to this week, we have a very important event which will be the European Central Bank's meeting. There is a large expectation, and indeed has been telegraphed by a number of the members of the ECB, that we can expect an interest rate cut. That would see interest rates in Europe reduce from 4.5% to 4.25%. And this comes at a time which will mark really a bit of a change in monetary policy and how that's evolved post-COVID. If we think back, it has been very much that policy direction has been led by the US in terms of interest rate increases, the pause, etc. that we've been going through over recent months. It now seems likely that that changes, with the ECB moving to reduce interest rates. The decision is, however, a little bit more complicated, and that follows the inflation reading that was released on Friday, which saw inflation increase from 2.7 to 2.9%. That brings a degree of consideration, one would say, into that decision, basically because of that increase. It doesn't, however, I don't think, do enough to dissuade the ECB from making a change, and we'll see that on Thursday when the team will report. I think then, looking at some of the other points for the week ahead, clearly normal data points resume with the US unemployment report for Friday. That will be important because it's the last employment reading that the Federal Reserve will have before they meet on the 11th and 12th of this month. It's also important because we're now in that period of time when there's a blackout, so we can't actually hear from any of the Federal Reserve governors ahead of that decision on the 12th of June. I think the other couple of things just to point out from over the weekend and this morning, in China we had the Casson manufacturing PMI data, and that showed further expansion. And now that is in contrast to the official data from Friday, which was a contraction. There is a difference in terms of the companies that they focus on. Casson focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises, the official data focusing on the large and state-owned companies. So a bit of divergence there and something to monitor. We also heard from OPEC Plus over the weekend, decision to further extend their output restrictions that have been in place for a number of months. The other key point that came out of that, however, was from October, we're going to see a gradual return to some of that oil coming back onto the market. And that's an important point. It's a balancing act for OPEC and recognises the challenge they have between keeping prices resilient, but also allowing those producers that have maybe been disproportionately impacted by the quota reductions to resume some of their production later in the year. We'll leave it there for today, but please do join the team through the rest of the week.